Welcome back to the MOOT Workshop. This is a 1935 Hamilton Prescott wristwatch. These were only offered by Hamilton in 1935, so we know that this is a 1935 watch. It's got a 14-karat gold-filled case, and it's missing the crown, so I can't actually tell if it runs or not. It's also missing a watch band, so let's see what we can do about making this a wearable working watch. First I have to pry the back off of it, and then when we pull this out, you will see that the movement is nestled in the back of the case. So we're going to have to pry that movement out of there very carefully around the edges, trying not to bend the dial. If I flip the balance wheel, you can see it acts like it runs for a little while, but then it'll stop. And then the other thing that I noticed is looking up the serial number on this. This is a 1930 movement, so it's actually older than the watch. That makes me think that's probably not the original mechanism. So let's put a crown on the movement. So I've got these finger condoms, as I like to call them, that the watchmakers tend to use. I think they primarily wear them so you don't see their dirty fingernails in their videos. They actually, to me, make it harder to hold on to the watch. But it does keep you from getting finger oils all over the mechanism. So get this pulled out and see if we can set the thing. And the setting mechanism does work. But if we try to wind it, it seems fully wound, but it doesn't run. So what I think I'm going to do, rather than repair this, since I don't actually have the knowledge and experience, is to go ahead and take a mechanism that I already have, that I know runs, but has a known problem that I think I can fix. So here is a mechanism from, I think, 1931, 1932 that does run, but the problem with this one is that you can't set it. The setting mechanism is broken. And here's why. If you look at this little spring here, it's broken in half. So that is supposed to make that arm that carries the gear back and forth spring back to where it belongs. So let's see if we can at least replace that one little part. First we'll put it in this movement holder to keep it steady while we work on it. Now I'm going to use a tiny little screwdriver to take the screw out of this thing, and it's really awkward for me because I'm not used to working on things this small, and I'm not used to having these rubber thingies on my fingers, but I do eventually get that out of there. And then I have to take the screw out of this plate that's holding down the other end of it, and then I should be able to pull the broken piece out. So first here's the loose piece, and now we'll pull out the rest of the thing, and it shoots across the desk. But yeah, here it is. So now we're ready to replace that part. First we want to oil the place where the metal is going to touch with some watchmaker oil, and then we'll place the new piece in position like so, and then we'll secure it with its little tiny screw. Now the little plate needs to go back on. We get that in position, and we also need to make sure that when we're screwing this down that we've got that arm in the slot on that gear, because it's supposed to guide that little clutch gear back and forth. All right, now let's put a crown in here. It's got a stem and a crown. Make sure it works properly. So can we wind it? Yes, we can. Let's see if we can set it. And yeah, all right. So now we have a fully functioning mechanism. Now before we can put the watch back together, we have to get the parts off the old movement that we need, which includes the face and the hands. So let's set the hands together here. Now we'll put this little protective thing over the face of the watch. That'll let us pry up those hands without damaging the face. And these things seem like they might not be sharp enough. They should be able to get up under the edges of this, and I'm really having a hard time. Perhaps I just don't have the technique yet, but I did eventually get the hands off of there without damaging them. So let's get those out of the way. The tiny little seconds hand is so small, it'd be hard to pry that off of there. So I'm actually going to use the face of the watch to pull that off when I remove the face. So the first thing we need to do is go around here and loosen up the screws that hold the face down. There's a little tab that sticks down, like a post that sticks down into the movement from the face in a few different spots, and we just have to loosen those screws and we should be able to pry the face right off of it. I would say that this dial has almost certainly been refinished. I doubt a dial this old would look this good without having been refinished at some point, but not super recently, because you can see a little bit of a discoloration there. So let's install the dial on the replacement movement. We just put the dial on top of it and line up those little feet in their holes, and then we just have to tighten up the little screws that hold it down all around the edges. And there's the first one. Now we'll turn it around and get to the next screw. And no, that is not one of the screw holes, but that is, and it's missing a screw. We're going to have to get one out of the old mechanism. These screws are so tiny, it's like the size of a flea. If you saw this lying on the ground, you wouldn't know it was a screw at all. They're so hard to hold on to. And so I had some difficulty getting this lined up. Whoop. Almost. Oh, damn it. Now the head's in the hole. All right, we'll try it again. Let's see. And no. All right, how about now? No. Crap. Damn it. Okay, this is just starting to get ridiculous. All right, I have a good feeling about this one. Oh, okay. All right, I think I can pull this one out. I'm going to be able to do it. Oh, God damn it. All right, come on, come on, come on. You could do it. You could do it. You could do it. He shoots. He scores. Okay, now that that excruciating experience is over, we can put the hands back on this thing. Oh, there it goes. It's running. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to use this hand setting tool to press the hands into place. And the sharp-eyed viewer will notice that I'm actually putting them back in the wrong place, which can actually be a problem if you don't have it all lined up so that both of them point to midnight when they're both there. Don't worry, I went back and fixed that later. So let's make sure that the hands don't get caught up on the little indicators, and they don't. So that's all working fine. Let's install it back in the bottom case. I used an air duster to blow any dust or debris that might have been inside the front of this case before I put it back together. Don't want to seal that all in there, but anyway, we press this tightly together and we have a functioning watch. The one last thing we got to do is some of these lugs are bent just a little bit, so I'm going to just very carefully straighten those out. Try not to get any marks on them. I know some people are probably cringing, but I am being very, very careful here. All right, after removing the old spring pins, it's time to put the new watch band on. This is always a little bit tricky, but the old fingernail on the top end of this has served me well. Let's see if I can pull that off, and after a few tries, we get it in there. These swinging lugs were a specific feature of the Prescott. They make it sort of follow the curve of your wrist without the watch itself having to be quite so curved. And there we go, working and ready to wear. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the MOOT Workshop.